Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call-in show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the Unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Let me unmute. So you can hear me now. I see that I do have sound. For some strange reason, I was muted. I don't understand why. But again, let me start again. My name is Devon A. Morris. This is the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call-in show. We're here to answer your Agile questions, Scrum, Agile, all that kind of stuff that you want to talk about. And this week, I was thinking about, I got a few emails about people and the success that they're having, the different things that they're going through. And I normally would talk about at some point, once a month or, every few weeks, the stories that people have. And I like to hear those stories because it just reminds me of where I came from and just, how you get that excitement from when somebody is having, just hitting a new bar. They're having some level of achievement and you can appreciate that level of achievement and you're proud for them. I mean, you're really, really just proud for them for who they are. So the first thing I want to say is, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is always a beauty to have you all on the show. I love it. I always love doing the show because it's always, I always learn something. Always gain insights. There's always great things that happen during the show. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the interview part, and I am going to drop the link in the chat for you in case you want to join the show and actually offer up some of the successes that you're having. Okay, so I will drop that link right now, pretty much on LinkedIn and on YouTube as well, so and then you all can have access to this. So please subscribe to the show. We always do this every other week, and it's really for you. If we have things to talk about, we talk. If we don't, we don't. It's a good thing. So let me talk to you about a couple of things that came across, and I just want to mention this. She was not able to join us, but I just kind of want to mention a letter that I received, and I'll read the letter, but I won't read out the person's name because I haven't really gotten permission to read out the name, but one day the person can come on and give more information about their story as they please. And I'm going to read it verbatim here without ad-libbing or adding anything to it. Greetings, Devon. I hope this message reaches you well. I wanted to take the time to write you and say thank you. Thank you for being you. I received a CSPO under one of your hardship classes. The experience and teaching truly blessed me. I was laid off due to COVID when the opportunity arrived to take the class. I utilized the instruction to remotivate myself to hunt again. I have been at my new company position for 3 months now. You truly opened a new avenue for me. I had no previous experience with Scrum besides my CSM that I received from you. I listen and follow your YouTube channel and receive lots of information from it. Truly, this email is to say thank you. And it says, if you have a mentor program, please keep me in mind. And I have been doing a mentor program, testing a few things out. But let me make a statement to you. That's not my work. It's not my work at all. Now, I may have laid some foundation with certification. We may have had the hardship classes and given someone an opportunity. And we always give an opportunity. As a matter of fact, this email actually reaches me at the perfect time. So let me talk to you about this person for a second, right? And it's a female, so let me say it that way, right? People come to the class and they decide what they're gonna do with it moving forward. Having 2 days of a CSM, CSPO class isn't enough. The one thing I love about the letter is when she said, instruction to re-motivate myself to hunt again. And I guarantee you, when she decided to hunt again, her hunt was very different. She approached it in a different way, and she probably has some other resources available to her to help her along the way with that hunt. But it's something that came out of her that pushed her in that direction to go on that hunt and to make something happen for herself. And sometimes you just need a small little leg up. Sometimes you just need just an opportunity. And that opportunity can turn into something super amazing. And this is the reason why we do certain things like hardship classes. Because I realized, especially during COVID, but man, prior to COVID, right? Everybody can't afford $1,000 class. They just can't, right? And I get it. I understand. I always used to say, hey, you need to just save your money and just make it happen. But everybody just can't do it. They just can't get that opportunity to make it happen. So when I see people that have especially come through a hardship class, right? And in that hardship class, we was charging $250, $300, whatever it was. I don't know. We did hardship class. We did Black Lives Matter classes last year that was like completely free, right? And that was probably 100, 150 people that we put through those classes, right? So literally people have been touched in some kind of way by Bearded Eagle, by myself, because again, there's not a lot of people that look like me that's in my arena, right? So I'm always gonna do things special for people who have challenges, women, all kinds of minorities, definitely. I'm gonna touch that, right? And I do that because I know that it can help, right? And so I hear these stories again and again and again. The stories I don't hear is the ones that don't find a job, is the ones who really haven't done anything with it. You understand? Let me tell y'all a secret, right? I decided to stop doing the hardship classes. I decided to stop doing the hardship classes because I was receiving, literally, people were coming to me and literally, you give me any reason, you're in. Like, I'm not even questioning people. I'm not calling to check a job to see if you really got a job. I'm not really checking your benefits. You could type stuff. Literally, any reason you give me, you're in the hardship class, right? But I had people sending me the same exact layoff letter, to the point where people were sending me the layoff letter without changing the words in it or even adding their name to it. Even sending me the Word document of the layoff letter without changing anything. And that really disheartened me, right? It really, really disheartened me. And I said, well, I'm done doing a hardship class. This doesn't make any sense. All the work that it takes to do the hardship class, and I got people taking advantage of it. And even when we did the Black Lives Matter class, we was trying to get, African Americans mostly in the class, guess what happened? We had people jumping in the class that wasn't African American whatsoever, wasn't black, just wasn't. And then they wouldn't show themselves on camera to try to fake us out, right? And so really it was it's always quite depressing when you see people try to take advantage of situations that, you're trying to help other people. And I get everybody wants a leg up, but in those situations when we're particularly trying to help a community, or trying to help people who are truly having a hardship. I've had people who, had gotten hit by a hurricane in Houston, or at least the floodwaters and things like that, and destroyed the whole house. And I'm just like, well, that's a hardship enough for me. I'm not questioning. I was never questioning anybody's hardship. I wasn't even evaluating whether it was hard enough, or some of those things weren't hardships at all, to be truth, right? But the idea is that if you felt like you needed it, it didn't matter to me, right? Yeah, I'd rather you go pay for a regular class, right? But in these situations, all those things, blessings or whatever you call it, will come back to me. So I wasn't worried, right? But I do feel some kind of way when I feel like I'm being cheated, or I feel like I have to go through extra effort to kind of make sure that I get the right people in the program. Because what happens is we only have a limited number of spaces, right? I legitimately can only put 30 people in a class, in a virtual class, according to Scrum Alliance's rules. But because of Lizzie, she can co-train with me or work with me on a class, and I can bump it up to 60 is what they said, but I don't even think that's the rule anymore. So I may only be able to put 30 or maybe 60 people in a class. I want to get as many people in a class as I possibly can get. So, and then people can go and figure out and do something with it, right? And so it really, really hurt my heart seeing people take advantage of it. But then I get an email. Right? And I get an email that talks specifically to the hardship class and says, I've been in my job for over 3 months at this point. I've literally been working. I got laid off due to COVID. I had no prior, did you hear that? I had no prior Scrum experience. And now I'm able to feed my family. Now I can go off with my kids and go off to a sporting activity and know that tomorrow we got things coming in. So my kids, my family will be taken care of. I don't want that to be taken away from people. Because I think there's a big enough pie out here for all of us to share, right? I don't think that it's good for somebody to be over here making $32 million, $1 billion, and I got people over here that's hungry. They can't afford a sandwich. I don't think that that's fair. I just don't, right? I don't know. Call me a socialist. I don't know. I'm not a socialist. I just don't think it's right. I don't think that's how we should be as humans in today's society. Now, if I could do it for free, I would. But I got to make sure things happen on my part so I can continue doing it. But the idea is that the disparities between individuals make no sense to me. So part of it is me trying to give people an equal opportunity. And I have a position as a certified Scrum trainer where I can help you in some kind of way. And I want to help you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts to it. And so me just thinking about it and how much I remember the amount of emails I had to go through with her, right? To make sure she was good, make sure she got in, make sure we took care of everything. And then she had an email that said this, and the email was, her name was flipped like this. And, I remember all that stuff, having all those conversations. I remember these people, right? Because I've had exchanges with them. You understand? And in those exchanges, they share something with me. They permanently impress themselves on me in some kind of way where it has an impact on my life because I don't want to see those disparities. It's just that simple. So it's one of those things when I get a letter like that, it just inspires me, people. And so sometimes I like to get on this and just talk about people's successes. And here's the deal. These lines are open right now. I threw the actual link to our video feed here for you to join me on the interview. If you have a success story, come join us. It actually helps other people out because it's not about me. It really isn't about me. It's about what you're going to do with this, not what I'm going to do with it. I may have done all I can do with it. This may be as far as I can take it, right? But you know what I want to happen? I want some of those people that I've trained, some of those people that I've touched to take it further than me. To like use me as a stepping stone to take it further like you would do with your children, right? And so I would love to see that. I would love to hear those kind of things. Those are the kind of things that I love to go through. And she sent me that letter yesterday and I was just like, man. So I may go back to having a hardship class, people. I may go back to having a hardship class, doing it once a quarter, right? I haven't done one this quarter because I told myself, I actually canceled it. I really canceled it, right? I had it scheduled and everything else. I canceled it, right? If you think I should go back to doing them hardship classes, just give me a thumbs up or something, right? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, I was really just not motivated about that hardship class at all. It just had an impact on me. And it's okay. We all go through our emotions, right? And I'm just as human as anybody else, right? I don't want to feel like I'm being cheated. Really, I don't want to feel like I'm being cheated. I don't want to feel like I'm cheating someone else. Because if you have a seat and you don't really have a hardship and I have somebody over here that has a hardship, that means they don't get into class. You understand where I'm coming from? That means they don't get into class. And I want people that really have a hardship to be able to join us and get into class, right? So again, you think I should continue, give a thumbs up. Now, the interesting thing is I had another email come in, right? Literally this afternoon, I do believe. This afternoon, right? It's a real simple one. And it goes like this. Hello, Devon. I wanted to let you know that since taking your class, I've gotten 2 job offers. I started a new job and then got a much better offer. Oh, that's pretty sweet. These are both 100% remote positions. Thanks again for everything. And then ask me when I'm going to do the PMP class. Yeah, I need to do the class. I've got people asking me about the class. I need to do the PMP class. You're right. I do need to do it, right? Let's keep the party bus rolling is what she says, right? And so, like, that right there is amazing. You know how good it is to have a bird in the hand and another company come and give you more money to do roughly the same thing? That's almost impossible to beat. It is literally almost impossible to beat. So I'm just very, very proud of the things that I see different people doing. And it's inspiring me. It's having such a great impact on me that it's really, really unbelievable. It's really one of those things where I'm just like, I'm so very proud of it that it's just completely unbelievable. So it's one of those things where as I look at these 2 women, I see something. I see that you all are doing something with this. I see you all are taking advantage of these opportunities. And you know how proud it makes me to see you taking advantage of these opportunities? We could talk about it forever, but I love to see people doing great things. I love to see us win. I just do. I really can't get around seeing us win. Because when we win, we tend to share it with other people. When you've been at the bottom, you have no problem with helping people that's been at the bottom because you're not threatened by someone taking your seat. Okay? Lifting as we climb. I mean, that's what my model is. It's always been my model. I always live that way. I can't help but to live that way because I wouldn't be the person that I am without a lot of people supporting me. So I'm really, really impressed, right, by seeing people go out there and go get it. Go get it. Now, I told myself I was going to go ahead and find myself a job. I stopped my job search, people, right? I really did, because I told myself I ain't got time to be looking for a job. I actually been doing a lot of training, so I don't have time to be looking for a job. I'm only looking for a job so I can figure out what it takes to find a job in today's world, right? That's really what I was trying to do. So it's just my experiment that I've been trying to do. But I've been running other kinds of experiments, just testing out different things. And what I see is these thumbs up, again, to keep doing the hardship classes. Man, you know what? I think I'm going to do another one. I'm definitely going to do another one. Probably, not right before the holidays. Maybe I'll go ahead and give one in late October, early November. I'll go ahead and pull one of those hardship classes in, and then just go ahead and attack it and take it from there. And then maybe another one in January as an anniversary gift, because we did that first true hardship class in January. Other than the stuff we were doing in 2019, so in 2020 we do a hardship class, one per quarter, just so I can get people that are going through roughly the same thing in the same class, because there seems to be a certain level of camaraderie that happens when I kind of mix people that have hardship with people who don't. It's different, because normally in the hardship class I have way more people that are unemployed. They're looking for an opportunity, and so part of the class kind of gets shaped into job search, other people passing resources back and forth related to finding a job or finding opportunities. And so it turns into just this whole thing. And so I want to make sure that we continue to have the big class with, people in there who are going through a similar struggle together, who are having hardship together, because there's nothing to feel bad about. There really isn't, not whatsoever. It's just we want to find ways to help people just kind of achieve whatever greatness that they're trying to achieve. And it could be I'm so interested in this, I want to just try it, right? But I'd rather in that case for you to have a hardship. Otherwise, you can just come to a regular old CSM class and join us anytime that you choose to. So that being said, I'm proud of the two women who sent me the emails. You know who you are. I probably got some more emails that I haven't really gotten to from this past week, because normally I get 1 or 2 emails a week about people who have had some level of success, and I'm going to probably see more of them as we go through the rest of the year, because I do see a lot of jobs or places looking for people. Looking for opportunities. Looking for people that they can bring in to do Scrum, to do things related to Scrum, Agile in general. So that's a major plus. It's just a really, really big thing. So my thought right now is, what shall I talk to you all about beyond just the success that people are having, okay? I've had a few classes this week. I've done a very interesting thing. I've had a half day CSM, half day CSPOs this week, and they've gone just fine. They're when knocking them out the park, and done some work for a company this week. But here's the deal, right? The big question I thought to myself is, where are we at in terms of this Agile thing? Where are we at in terms of Scrum? I'm so used to saying to people that nobody does Scrum perfectly, okay? And one of the things I was diving into recently is the 2020 Scrum Guide. The 2020 Scrum Guide is something I was really diving into, because obviously we have to do updates for the learning objectives and everything else. And, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to change everything and get it perfect. But I was reviewing some of the changes that I had made months ago, and just reviewing them and taking them to heart and seeing what were some of the things that were really important that I had seen that caught my attention, that I probably was maybe doing or said was a good idea, and then went from there. And the biggest thing that probably was working my nerves with the 2020 Scrum Guide, which I think I've kind of completely accepted it at this point, and I kind of don't disagree with it whatsoever, is the change of the development team to the word developers. Developers. Do you know this change, right? Some of you have read the Scrum Guide. Some of you have not read the Scrum Guide. Have you read the 2020 Scrum Guide? If you haven't, if you read this 2020 Scrum Guide, please type in the chat 2020. Because if you haven't and you're still dealing with the 2017 Scrum Guide, I think the 2020 will do you some amazing good, right? Why do I say that? One, let's just take the daily Scrum. How many people really do a daily Scrum with the top 3 questions? And tell me that that's really what your team really wants to do. Come in and do those top 3 questions. Matter of fact, here's a big question for you. When you're in a daily Scrum, after about a month or so, do your team still follow the format of exactly, specifically those 3 questions? Or do they deviate, and really the people who have something to say will talk about where they're currently at, and then a team will kind of agree to what they're going to do next? I found in my experience that most teams, mature teams, they'll talk about where we're currently at, but then try to figure out where we're going to go next. And it becomes an opportunity for us to make sure that we're on the same page. So one of the differences with that 2020 Scrum Guide that I like and that I appreciate is that giving the developers, understand I just said developers very specifically because it's no longer the development team, it's developers. Giving the developers an opportunity to pick how they want to run that daily Scrum, I think is super important. And why do I think that daily Scrum, just simply that daily Scrum, the time we get together to synchronize, the time we get together to make sure that we're all moving in sync toward the actual goal? Why do I think that's super important? Because as a past developer, I never liked anybody telling me what to say, telling me what to do, telling me how to think. And realistically, when I have been on teams, involved with teams, we don't truly follow that 3-question format. We don't. We actually get to a place where it becomes more about us collaborating on where we've been and then deciding where we're going to go next collectively. And that's where the exchanges happen. But I always seen struggles inside the room with people doing that. And I'm curious as to what your experience is. When you're having that daily Scrum, I mean, literally, it's just a 15-minute meeting. That's it. It's 15 minutes. 15-minute event. That's it. You come in, you do your thing, you go. Another wonderful thing about it that I really, really appreciate is that it explicitly says in the 2020 Scrum Guide, literally, the product owner and Scrum Master don't have to show up. Unless they're doing some work that is related to something in the sprint backlog that's toward that sprint goal, right? That means that as a Scrum Master, even though the expectation is for me to facilitate every single thing, once the developers know how to do this daily Scrum, I don't have to show up anymore. Unless I'm actively working on something that is related to the sprint backlog, driving toward that sprint goal. Oh man, you know what that does? That eases my mind. Because the truth of the matter is, I didn't show up anyway. Once I realized the development team knew how to do it and they knew how to handle it, I always found something else to do to help someone else. Because if they know how to facilitate it and they conduct it fine, even if it's not perfect, That's okay by me. So my thought for you, my question for you is, what are some of those other things in the 2020 Scrum Guide that you like or that you hate, that you love or that you just really dislike? I love to see some of those comments in the chat because those comments right there will probably be intriguing to me, right? But it's just that simple daily scrum, I'm telling you, that excites me because I know how important a daily scrum is for synchronization. Because two people, people working on the same team, diving off deep into their work, they don't know exactly what's happening between each other, exactly where they're going. But that gives us that opportunity to resync and keep ourselves moving in a direction and keep ourselves moving toward the same goal. I find that to be simply amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that's what my teams would do. But then you as a Scrum Master, you're trying to get people to follow exactly what the Scrum Guide says. We try our best not to be Scrum Bud. We want to be as far from Scrum Bud as we possibly can be. So now we got to work through this, try to get this thing done in a perfect way, right? And so that's relieving for me, has always been relieving for me to see adjustments happen that make sense and to allow the developers to really say, here's the way we want to do it, the time we want to do it, the place we want to do it. We want to do it as a round robin, or we want to do it where anybody goes first, it goes first. Or maybe we all don't speak, right? Or we have the lead talk and determine where we all should go and what that next direction is. They get to pick the direction, how they want to conduct it. That right there, for me, is how it should be. Because that's going to do what? That's going to allow us to have more opportunities to actually self-manage, right? And the opportunity to self-manage is really, really nice. The opportunity for them to be able to find better ways to communicate is really, really nice. So if you haven't read that 2020 Scrum Guide, you should go read it. But if you have really dove into that 2020 Scrum Guide, what are some of the things that you like or dislike? What are some of the things that come up in your head space, right? That you said, that's about right. That's not about right. I mean, when I first looked at it, the first thing that I really didn't like in looking at it was changing the development team to the developers. You know, why? Because I classically work in IT and people confuse the developers with software developers. So it's always just a simple battle that we always have to fight. But if I'm building a house, I'm really developing a house, right? I'm really making that house occur, right? And it's just one of those things where I like the essence of that, right? And it's not something I want to get around or get away from. It's just, you just think about that, right? And so that really caught my attention, but really just looking at that Scrum Guide have less software specific language was beautiful. And you don't notice it initially. It's taken me months to really notice it. But with less specific language means I can apply it to my workouts, I can apply it in other things without me stripping away from that software specific language, which I've always had to do, right? And it's like this comment right here, right? Let me throw it on the board here. I like to follow the task board to make sure everyone has participated and the task board is updated during the stand-up. Now, Sandra, I can't say that I like that, but the question is, if that's what the developers want to do, I'm not going to say it's wrong. Now, here's the question that I would ask, Sandra. It's a good question, right? Is that what the developers want to do, or is that what the Scrum Master wants to do? Is that what the developers want to do, or is that what the Scrum Master wants to do? Because when I look at this and I look, hey, we pull up the task board, make sure everybody participates. Who is that for? Is it for them or is it for someone else? That's the question, right? And so, I understand. They do what you say. I get it. And that's the way, But the question is, if they just do what you say, are they really self-managing? Interesting. So it's one of those things where I'd rather for them to choose how it should be, right? And I like it that way. I really do. I like encouraging them to be able to decide what their future looks like, right? Now, I have a different comment here, right? QA. Where does QA fit in developers? Okay, well, I want you to think about a definition here, okay? And it's really, really, and I want to pull up the 2020 Scrum Guide, but let me just paraphrase from what I remember, right? A developer works on any aspect of what it takes to produce, create the increment. Let me repeat that. A developer works on any aspect of what it takes to produce or create that increment. That may not be the exact words that's in the actual Scrum Guide, but that is close enough. And if you think about classic IT, QA is quality assurance, right? Testing kind of stuff, right? So the question I'd ask you is this, Kaz. Is testing one of the aspects of what needs to be done to create the increment? Think about that for a second, Kaz. Think about it for a second, right? Hear me. Work with me here, right? Is testing one of the aspects that are needed to actually build or create that increment? And if that is one of the aspects, then a generic term for anyone who has the QA skill set is to be a developer. Because developer is a generic term. And I like that any aspect of what it takes to create that increment, all the way through, hopefully, the potentially shippable, big, super perfect definition of done, all the way through. That's what I would love. That's what I would love. I love seeing that, right? And so when you think about this, that word developers, it just has so much weight. But the weight is really on IT people. Really, it's IT people that have the problem. Because there's always this battle of QA versus testing. But testing is a part of what we need to do. It's an aspect of what it takes to make sure that increment meets whatever standards that needs to be met. So, and if that's the case, why can't we generically call people who have the QA skill set developers in the software development domain? I mean, if I am running miles, I'm a runner. But in order to do any aspect of the running of the mile, right? As a runner, I have to run. And if I'm the one that's doing the running, and that's really the only thing that's required, then in Scrum, I'm called a developer. I'm called a developer. Nothing really crazy about the term, and I know we may not like it a whole lot. And my thing, I was against it for a reason. Because every time I use the word developer, it turns into this whole conversation, and I get tired of the conversation. And so I was just like, let's call it the delivery team, right? The delivery team, a person that delivers, right? But when you look at it from a singular aspect, and then when you say developer versus development team, it eliminates the confusion of Scrum team versus development team. And now you say to yourself, I have a Scrum team that includes a product owner, Scrum Master, and developers. It's less confusing. When I say it in product owner, Scrum Master, development team, and they're all a part of the Scrum team, people always mess up that development team part. Okay? And so having developers being a part of that Scrum team is amazing. Is absolutely amazing. And your follow-up here is, my QA sometimes is seen as the subject matter expert, okay? So the answer would be yes. Now, I would kind of say to myself, if they're just providing expertise and that's it, and they're not doing any aspect of the work, I might question a little bit about them being a developer because they're not doing the work of the aspect of building it. They're just providing some consultation. But it is one of those things where that subject matter expertise is important, doing that work is important. And so just that whole developer thing, it actually threw me for a loop, right? Because I looked at it and said, man, why didn't they change this? Because we got to keep having this conversation with IT people in class and always get these caveats about this is a generic term. And then I just calmed my skin. Down and said, no. Realistically, these are people that work on any aspect of what it takes to build the increment. And as long as we think of them as working on any aspect of building the increment, then click. It clicks in my head real quick. And I find that it clicks in other people's head just as fast, because the idea is that it doesn't matter what skill set you have. If you use that skill set to help build this increment, you are called a developer in the Scrum world. Does that make sense? So really, really important. I love it. And even though we're talking about the Scrum Guide 2020, or the 2020 Scrum Guide, I got CJ asking a question of, what other certifications does your company provide? Agile Coach, ACM, DEI? If yes, would those advanced classes be immediately available? Well, we do mostly Scrum Alliance classes in terms of Bearded Eagle, and it would be the Advanced Certified Scrum Master, the Advanced Certified Scrum Product Owner, the Certified Scrum Professional, so CSP. So we do those classes for sure, and those classes, we'll have more of those classes by the end of the weekend up on the website, because we kind of work 3 months out, and so we'll be having more of those out. And I specifically haven't put some of them out because I just forgot to put them, but we'll have more of those things coming out. So you can just look at the website beardedeagle.com and see those classes available there. You look Monday, you'll see more of those kind of classes available. And we're gonna start doing some real special stuff. I mean, we got some really, really amazing things coming. And really what we've been doing is putting things in the pipe, starting to get ready for next year. So then when next year happens, we can start to hit you all really, really hard on the things that we're doing, so then you can grow, right? Especially with mentorship programs and everything else. So all this stuff is coming. All this stuff will be announced in the coming weeks. So just start looking out for it, because it's definitely coming. Super exciting stuff coming. So I'm super excited. Do eagles have beards? I don't know. I've never seen an eagle have a beard, man. I really haven't seen an eagle have a beard. The truth is, let me tell you a secret. I can't grow a beard. Well, no, I lie. I've never grown a beard in my life because I have 4 hairs on my chest, man. Let's put it that way. So I can't grow anything. My hair gets to about this length and then it just curls up. So I haven't seen too many eagles have a beard. We try our best to put a little beard on the little bearded eagle. If you look at our logo, it's almost like we got a little beard coming out like that. But no, I haven't seen too many eagles have a beard. But if you find one, that's good. Now, there is a bearded vulture, though. There's actually a bearded vulture, and they have a little bitty beard at the bottom of their beak, something like that, right? So I love it. Yeah. If I got a baby face, that's a good thing, I had my dad come down here and visit me, right? And so he's He's 18 years older than me. That's it. He's 18 years older than me. Don't ask me what he was doing, but he's 18 years older than me, right? And my mother's 15 years older than me. So literally, I'm like their younger brother, right? And so we go to the store, and he's always super happy when people ask, "Are we brothers?" Are we brothers? So he's super happy, right? And I guess he's an all right looking gentleman himself. We're definitely related, no question. So it's interesting, right? So love it, love it, love it, love it. And so people, somebody asked me today, where did we get the Bearded Eagle name from? And the truth of the matter is, it really came from a really simple place. I decided to venture off on my own because I got tired of being treated bad by companies, not paying me what I should be paid, or bringing in people with less experience than me and them getting paid more money than me. And I just said to myself, I'm tired. I'm really the resource here that's bringing in the dollars. So it's just time for me to change that equation. And so I went ahead in 2011 and just jumped out there with BE. And the way I came up with the name was really simple. My father's a Marine, and they have an eagle on their crest. And then I have a mentor, right? He's passed on, rest in peace, Ayo. He used to always call me an eagle, because one of the things that many people don't understand is I'm an introvert. Not an extra. I'm an introvert, literally an introvert. And with being an introvert, it's kind of like I kind of fly solo a lot. And so he noticed that about me. And so I said, I'm going to find the biggest, baddest eagle that I could find. And when I did the research, I found an eagle that had a 30-foot wingspan, all this kind of stuff. Name starts with an L, Lima Geister. I don't know. I have to look up the name at some point. I don't remember the exact name. But when I looked it up, the name translated back to Bearded Vulture. So I could not call the company Bearded Vulture because it wouldn't go off well as a consultant. So I decided to switch the Vulture out to Eagle, and that's how we came up with the name Bearded Eagle. And it's been that ever since. And we actually got our logo. Our logo used to be really different than that, but we got our logo probably a couple years, a year and a half or 2 years in. We got somebody who actually created that for us, and it's been our logo ever since. So love that logo. People have asked us to put that on shirts and do different things with it, but next year, as the economy gets back, we're going to be doing stuff like putting Bearded Eagle on shirts and having Scrum Fit shirts and all kinds of things like that. Because we've always had gear. We've always had gear. And so we're going to start doing, we also had rugby balls and everything else. And those are the kind of things that we're definitely bringing back, our cards, all that kind of stuff. So it's great. It's great. It's an excellent thing, right? And so excellent news. Yeah, we do have opportunity to do diversity training and certifications. We have that opportunity. I am a certified diversity practitioner myself. So there are arenas or places that I can do things. So those are things that we are bringing, especially diversity in the Agile space. So be looking for more diversity in the Agile space and for us to be making that a reality next year. So just know that. Hint, hint, it's coming, okay? We got a few more things to do before we get it out there. Let's see. Yeah, that whole servant leader thing being removed. When if you was to look at the learning objectives that are associated with the Scrum Alliance in terms of that, the whole actual servant leader thing. The servant leader thing was absolutely removed. There's no question. It was removed from the Scrum Guide. And, I don't have a real good answer on the why behind that. Other people may. I don't like to pay attention to a lot of things. But still in terms of the learning objectives for the Scrum Alliance, for the actual workshop, They still say define servant leadership. They still ask for us to define servant leadership. So we still, if you look at Learning Objective 3.1, it says define servant leadership. 3.2 says describe 3 scenarios where Scrum Masters act as servant leaders to the development team. That could be developers, because I may have copied something. In terms of the CSM class, the servant leader word hasn't truly gone away. But I think the true leader includes aspects of servant leadership within it. So that's something that, I think people are really trying to define and wrap their head around. And, Ken and Jeff will probably be talking more and more about that as time marches on. But yeah, the servant leader to true leader thing definitely was a big deal, and people were probably shedding some tears in reference to that. Seriously, people get real serious about words. Okay, so I like this word here, which I love. Hey, anything is possible in 2021. It's 2021, right? Anything's possible. So now, since it's 2021, anything and everything is going to be possible in 2022. I'm so excited about 2022 coming. This COVID thing is a beast, right? But I'm super excited about 2022 coming. I'm extra excited about 2022 coming. Somehow I made my screen have funky little letters here, so I'm gonna have to fix that real quick for us, people. Let me just get rid of the whole thing so we don't have to worry about it. But I'll bring this back in just a moment. I just didn't like the way it was looking, so let me bring it back and fix it, so and then we're all here doing the same stuff, talking the same thing. So I'm just doing some on the fly editing for us. Don't worry, we don't have any, I try not to be so perfect, but that's okay. So 2022 is going to be it. Yes, Lizzie. Okay, here's the big question. Is Lizzie still a part of the company? Yes, Lizzie is not going nowhere. She's a co-owner of Bearded Eagle. She ain't going nowhere. She is not going nowhere. Lizzie's not going nowhere at all. If she tries to go somewhere, I'm gonna choke her. No domestic violence here, okay? But I'm gonna choke her, okay? So she's not going anywhere. No, she's not going anywhere, not at all, right? Just with Lizzie, she had a really big throat problem that took her down for about 6 to 8 weeks, literally. And so we getting her ramped back up, but she just lost her voice, literally. When I say she lost her voice, she literally completely lost her voice. I just think she just be working too hard. She be too concerned about y'all. For real, she be really concerned about y'all. Trying to make sure in every single class, every single person gets every single thing. Lizzie she's a beast, man, but she's not going any place. She's not going anywhere. And she's alive, well, and kicking. She actually had to do a couple classes for me today. Actually, I'm doing 2 half-day classes, and she did the morning and afternoon class for me on 2 days because I had to go and work with a private client on some things. And so she's gonna take half my class in the morning. I'm gonna take the other CSM, the rest of the CSM, tomorrow night, or at least tomorrow afternoon. So Lizzie is cool. She's good. She just she's just trying to enjoy herself. I mean, one of the things that, she's doing is just trying to de-stress, spending time with the kids, just loving life, readjusting, recalibrating, all those wonderful things. And so we were doing a lot of behind the veil stuff, stuff that you wouldn't see publicly. And so she's been doing way more of that behind the veil stuff, right? And so once we finish some of these experiments, we're going to start taking some of this stuff that's behind the veil and moving it to the forefront. And once we move it to the forefront, that's the reason why I say 2022 is going to be amazing, because we got some amazing things coming in 2022. So I'm actually very excited about what's coming, and I can't wait to kind of start unwrapping things slowly but surely. I kind of enjoy this kind of stuff. I feel like my birthday is Christmas Eve, so it's I always like to unwrap gifts. But do you know that if your birthday is around Christmas, you don't get as many gifts? I really didn't get any gifts growing up, but I made sure my family had gifts, so that was a good thing. But yeah, on that note, we've just been solid, right? And so back to that true leadership thing, true leadership, servant leadership. Servant leadership always been something that's a little bit hard for people to understand. I almost have to tell people to compare, to think about your mother or somebody in your life who did things for you without expecting anything in return. And servant leader is close to being like that. And start talking about Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela and, Gandhi, even though they all had their different flaws, right? But the idea is that the essence of what they did in terms of the great stuff that we talk about, still was in the essence of what servant leadership is. And, if you really want more information on that, you should go look up Robert Greenleaf. I think he was wrote stuff in the 60s, and he one that really kind of coined that concept back in the day. So that's one of those things you want to just go grab that information and go search it. Some of these old books, man, have really, really good information in them. You should really read some of them, right? I mean, so it's one of those things where I think I need to go back and read a couple books, right? I haven't even gotten through my book this month. Normally I go through a book a month, right? Normally every single month I go through a brand new book. And you know what I've been going through this past month is NFTs. Those NFTs that be selling those pictures for a lot of paintings, digital paintings for a lot of money. Just been learning a lot about that kind of stuff and just try to keep myself abreast on that stuff because, when you got kids and they do different things, they be thinking about stuff. I'm like, okay, let me find out a little bit about that. So, yes, diversity training is more of that is coming. It's coming. It's coming. Don't think it's not because it's coming. Because, again, we have to deal with that completely. So definitely looking forward to more of that stuff coming in the next year. So just be prepared. Be prepared for all that stuff. So on that note, I know we rambled some a little bit, but I'm going to say this once again. Please always come around here and talk to us about your success stories. We want to make sure other people are inspired by you. And I say that because I know people like to listen to me. I know people take what I say to heart, but people really get motivated by people that they feel like have been in a similar situation to them. I find a lot of cases that women who have children, they're more motivated by women who have children, right? Women who have been through similar struggles that they have been in. And I know me, I've been always motivated by people who I've seen could have walked, or I have walked in the same shoes that they walked through, and they're to the other side of whatever it is. So I'm going to say to you, always come back here with your stories. We like to hear them. We like to hear about people having success, whether it's on a particular effort, right? Or you found a new job. All that stuff is wonderful to hear because people need it in today's age and time. But on that note, I'm going to say we are good for today. I'm going to tell you to have a wonderful week, couple weeks. I'll be thinking about coming back to this every other week format. Now, getting rid of the every other week format and come back to an every week format. I like doing this every week. I like getting on here and having conversations with you. I just do. Don't ask me why. I just like it. There's no reason. I just like it. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to say to you, peace to you. I'll see you soon. Maybe next week, but for sure in 2 weeks. But if I get on next week, I'm going to jump on and, just chat. Just chat because I like to chat. So on that note, look, everybody, have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your time. Sleep well. Have a good rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend. I look forward to seeing you the next week, okay? Have a good one, y'all. Peace out.